Have you ever thought about turning your sewing hobby into a business? You were wearing something that someone complimented and you thought, could I actually sell this? And the answer is yes. But knowing what to sell and how to sell it is key. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through the business side of selling handmade items. And I've created a free guide with all the information. You can find the link in the description below. Turning your creativity into a profitable business is so exciting, but can also be very overwhelming. It's important to focus on the business side of things, such as what to sell, how to sell it, and how to price it. We could think about what to sell by looking at this Venn diagram, and we want to think about the intersection of all of these four important points. First, we're going to look at what are you good at? What are your skills? What are your interests? You really want to start making something that you enjoy so you can continue to do it. But you also have to consider what people want. You have to look at the market demand and trends. You should do this through some online research on marketplaces like Etsy. Then you should think about what can be profitable. You want to think about the cost of making these items versus the selling price, and we'll get more into that in a little while. You have to think about the materials, your time, and your labor. And then the scalability and ease of production. You do not want to make something that is very time consuming or very difficult to produce. You think about whether you can batch produce them or perhaps create a digital product that can be more scalable. So you can see with the Venn diagram where all four of these things overlap. That is the perfect thing that you can consider selling. One of the biggest challenges for creative entrepreneurs is balancing the creative side with the business side. If you focus on making what you love but don't price it correctly or don't have a good production in place, it's really not going to be sustainable. Here's how to balance both. Know the market. It's important that you pick a product that you actually enjoy making, but you also have to weigh that with that people actually want to buy it. Doing your market research will help make sure that there is a market for the products you're making. Think about profitability. Pricing your product too low just to make sales is just not sustainable. You need to make sure that you factor in the costs of the materials to make your product, as well as fairly compensating your time. Time management is key. You do not want this business to completely take over your life. So you need to make sure you put aside time that you're going to devote on the business, and then also balance that with time with your family. Don't let perfectionism hold you back. Many creatives don't want to launch because the product or the branding isn't perfect yet. You want to iterate as you go, so just launch and you can learn as you grow. So let's talk about setting up your business. First thing, let's get a logo and branding. You want to keep this simple, but you want it to be visually appealing and memorable. But keep it simple to start. Even a clean text-based logo to start will work. A common mistake is underpricing handmade goods. Use this formula to price for profit. Take your material costs and then add the amount of time you spent times an hourly rate, and make sure that this is a realistic hourly rate. You're not giving yourself something below minimum wage because your time is valuable. And then you're going to take that times 2, and that gives you a wholesale price. That's the price you would sell to maybe a boutique or something like that. If you're going to sell it directly, then you take that wholesale price and you multiply that times 2 again, and that gives you the retail price. And that is the price that you should sell it for if you're selling it on your own. And the advantage of this retail price is, perhaps you are selling it on Etsy. There are going to be fees associated with it, or you may be selling it at a farmer's market and there'll be fees associated there. So that extra times 2 over the wholesale price we'll give you some room there to account for those added fees. So the example would be if your materials costs are $5 and you're spending an hour making every product, you're going to give yourself, let's say, $20 an hour. You'll take 5 plus 20, multiply that to multiplier, and it would be $50 for wholesale. Then you're going to multiply that again by 2 to be $100 retail. And the not so fun side of starting a business is the legal basics. You have to register your company. What are the local regulations? You have to think about business taxes. I've always created an LLC for my business. So these are all things that you need to think about and you should look into. And we have to think about where to sell. Do we want to sell online like a Shopify store or on Etsy or on Amazon Basics? Do we want to sell in maybe perhaps locally in boutiques or flea markets or craft fairs? There's lots of options, and you think strategically of what makes sense for you and your product. And even if you are selling in person, I would recommend having some kind of online presence, whether it's just a Facebook page or an Instagram account. A website would be great, but that's a little bit more advanced. So you might want to stick with social media as you get started. And you may consider creating a very, very simple business plan. I'm talking about a simple one-pager that would just outline what your goals are, what your pricing strategy is, and what your marketing strategy is. Just really the point of this is just to get things down on paper and sort of forces you to think through some of these really important items. And now you have your product and you've priced it. You have to think how you're going to get the word out. It's very important to do marketing. So you can do things like social media marketing, whether it's just posting on your account. You may want to consider posting ads, paying for ads on social media. You could also try to get your product in the hands of influencers. You could do email marketing. So if you could get email addresses from prospective customers, you could send out to that. I think it's really a good idea to try to start collecting emails, particularly if you're at a craft fair, something like that. Definitely try to get people to give you their email. And blogging is another way that you could get your product in front of people. And some basic tips would be to start small with perhaps only 1 or 2 products. I would prioritize quality over quantity. Try to engage your audience, whether it's in person or online or both, and keep learning. Some ideas of handmade items that you may consider selling include digital sewing patterns, which are great because you create them once and you can sell them over and over. Home and kitchen textiles such as fabric napkins, placemats, or aprons. These things are very practical and stylish and really great for gifts. Pet accessories are always so popular because people love spending money on their pets. So things like dog bandanas or little dog outfits would be adorable for people who love spoiling their pets. DIY craft kits. You could make prepackaged materials with instructions that would be really fun for kids and busy moms. Quilted or patchwork items such as baby blankets or quilted coasters. It's a great use of all your scraps. So your materials cost would be very low. I have a whole video here of ideas of what you can make with your scraps. Hair accessories such as scrunchies or headbands are always in big demand. Things such as fabric earrings or maybe fabric necklaces would be really interesting. Baby or kids items such as bibs or burp cloths. I have a video here that shows you how to make an adorable baby bib with some leftover scraps. Zero waste or sustainable goods. You can make reusable snack bags or fabric produce pouches. And if you want to learn more about making some of these ideas, check out this video here. If you want more videos like this within a deep dive into the business side of crafting, please let me know in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe.